Today we had a fantastic conversation about youth purpose education with Ida Nevalainen, founder of Marked. She tells us the story about how she, from being primary school teacher to special needs educator, realized that there was a lot of problems not addressed in the school system. And the main one is the lack of purpose. Welcome to enjoy the show for this amazing conversation about how to find our purpose from a young age and beyond. Ida, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. So grateful to be here.
Yeah, so nice to see you finally. We've been talking online for a few years, and finally we get the chance to sit down for a proper conversation.
Thank you.
Youth purpose education, that's powerful. And I really want you to take us first back to your story as a primary school educator, to a special needs educator, and then towards your present role as a founder of Marked, and tell us all about this youth purpose education, what that is about.
Thank you.
Please start.
Thank you very much, Joni. It's a pleasure to be here. And I also look forward to this conversation because the purpose education is something that's been in my heart for a long time. But I think in the last couple of years, I really started to understand more what it can really be and why do we need it. But yes, I was working as a teacher. And what I do today as a social entrepreneur was born in the classroom. I used to have a special needs class of 7 students. I really loved that work. And there I really saw the problems that we talk a lot about today, the mental health problems, the anxiety, the need for social emotional skills. That was everyday life.
And when was this? What year?
It was 2017.
Okay.
Yes. And I remember I came to a point I was like, I can't just see the need. I need to do something. And I decided to start these, I called them humanity skills lessons, or we came and we sat down together with a cup of tea. And we learned to listen to each other. We learned to give good feedback. But I really wanted us all to go into this research trip on how does our mind really work? Why do we have our thoughts? Where do they come from? How about the emotions? What is the purpose of emotions? What can we do when we have different emotions? All the way to the nervous system, and how does it impact the way we communicate with each other? And then I had this one conversation with one of the students, and he told me, now I understand that there's nothing wrong with me. I just haven't understood myself.
And how old was he?
He was in the sixth grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And I was thinking, well, maybe most of us think at some point, what's wrong with me, with all these emotions, with all these thoughts? And then I realized, why don't we teach about these skills at the school? Because there are more things that unites us than makes us separate. And when we find the things that what is to be a human, suddenly we come closer to each other. But it didn't end up there because, we get to know our strengths, our interests, the skills to regulate ourselves, to cooperate with other people. But then came the question, what now? What then? What do we do with all of this? And it turned out to be that they want to contribute. They want to do something. And we started one project that they were leading. And I must say, I became speechless because I heard so many things what they can't do. And I proved also myself wrong. They can if we give them the opportunity to do so. So from there, it started the Marked with Purpose that I've been developing together with amazing professionals in Finland and also abroad. So we developed this method for social emotional learning, for how we can support the positive self-image, and now at the latest, how we can help young people to really contribute with what they have. And there came the purpose education.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And for what age students or children is this, let's say, designed for?
From 13 to 27 years old. So
Wow.
from teenagers to the
Fantastic.
young adults.
So right after 6th grade.
Yes.
So if you survive 6th grade, so 5th and 6th grade are also already now quite challenging for a lot of kids.
Yes.
And it used to be maybe 8th or 9th grade when I was young. And how have you seen the transition? Are you finding it easy to get collaborators, children, families, schools from 5th, 6th grade to hear about your program, and if you can tell a little bit about how the program is structured?
Yes. So in the program, we have 3 main parts. It's connection to self, connection to others, and connection to the world. Because that's how basically our life is. We spend most of the time with ourselves. So then we focus on what's in me, what are my strengths, what is my life story, what am I interested about, and what to do with my emotions and why the emotions are important. And all these skills. Also, we talk about growth mindset. How do I see myself as a learner? Self-compassion. All these topics are in the connection with self, what we learn. But then we are connected to others. We have people around us. We have our family, our friends, our colleagues. So we need to learn, how do we communicate? What are the social emotional skills? And then we focus on how in the world and during throughout the whole history, together, we as humans, we have developed the ideas, the innovations together. So how we can put everything that is in us to the table and start to do something together. And then we go to the last part, connection to the world. Okay, what are my dreams? What are my values? Where does my emotion show that what are the parts in the world that I want to have impact on? What would I like to change? Something that is meaningful personally to me, maybe related to my life story, my interest, but something that I want to do that contributes to other people. And that's where the purpose and meaning comes. And then we learn, how does change happen? And then we start to put all these together. So that's the program, what it is about. And we've had really great response to it. We have many different stories from a classroom where students didn't speak anything to a conclusion where they started to speak and really dig deep into these topics. And with the teachers also, they've shown great interest because the way we wanted to create it was that the teacher can also jump into it and join the students. Like, we want to make their work easier because we know the realities.
Yeah.
What is it?
So that's also a key question, like what's required from teachers and schools. How has this integrated with the schools and also the Finnish curriculum as it is? Taking into account that since 2014-16, we had quite an innovative curriculum in Finland compared to the rest of the world, focused precisely on the development of the human being and the life skills around it, including social emotional skills and so on. In practice, of course, it's been taking a long time to have very good implementation. But how have you seen your program connecting with the Finnish curriculum and the Finnish schools and what is required for it to function as you want it to function?
Yes. Well, when we talk about these skills, social emotional skills and everything included, I think it's impossible to teach them if we don't, as a professionals, have the skills in our own life.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good point.
That's why we always start with the teachers. We go to a journey together to, of course, we learn the theory, the theory behind it, but then we learn the skills ourselves. And of course, we have many skills, but that's why we always start with the training. And after that, what is happening and what is then possible is that we don't only give them a program with the ready materials, but when the teachers have the skills and they know really well the topics, suddenly they start to implement in every learning activity. So then it's not something separate.
Yeah, it's fully integrated.
It's fully
Like the
integrated
life
to
skills
topics.
that we want to kind of have.
Yes, because teacher in the classroom, you are not only leading learning, you are leading emotions, you are leading human development in every areas. So that's why we want to see the tools getting integrated to, like I said, every learning activity. But there has been different, depending on the school, different ways to integrate the program. I think some principals where they are really pedagogical leaders, they have a vision for the school, what they want to do and why. Then we see it's best to involve all the teachers, and they even put it into their curriculum, the lessons. Like this is the point where we're going to have these marked lessons. So that is like the our dream. But there are really different ways of integrating it, because also schools are different and we wanted it to be flexible. And then we can trust teachers as a pedagogical expert, because then they have the tools, they know how to use it. So, yeah.
And can you tell us about the real problems that you've seen in society? You mentioned something before about your interviews with young people who kind of don't see any meaning in school, and maybe they're not even in school. So some of the challenges that you see in school among the young teenagers, but also in society in general, that you see that this is a really important problem, and why we really need to address this.
Yes. This morning, before coming here, I was actually thinking a question that many times we ask young people, like, what do you want to do? And they need to know it quite early. And of course, that journey can change, and that's totally okay. But we ask what, but we don't ask why. Why do you want to do that?
Starting with why, so important.
What gives you meaning in that? What do you want to achieve, and why? And I have a dream, and my dream is to see a school as a place where we should support young people with this why question during their studies. Because what then can happen is that they start to see the connection in their studies and with what they want to do. And when we can connect these two, then it's powerful. And I want to see schools as a place where the most innovative solutions are born, and where the young people find, like, what do I really want to do? Because research shows that when we find the meaning, the why, we become more deeper learners, we become more optimistic. It impacts our mental well-being because we have some reason. So then we can also, suddenly we are more resilient, because we know, okay, even though I need to learn these things, that it's not maybe the most like what interests me, but it's part of this journey to go here. So yeah, that's why purpose education has now been a lot in my mind, because I think in school we can do a lot about it. And Professor William Damon from Stanford University, he says it really well, that maybe the problem is not stress, but meaningfulness. Like not meaningfulness, but the lack of meaning, I mean.
Yeah.
Like, what is behind all these mental health issues that we have among young people? How much from there is the lack of meaning and purpose?
Yeah. I read a study many years ago also about the meaning of stress, or the implication of stress, and it's very much connected to what you think about it. So if you think the stress is good for you, that you stay active and you're really on a mission to do things, even if the stress level is very high, then it's not really damaging for you as much as if you think that the stress is only bad for you.
Yes.
And the belief, the psychological aspect there is really, really important. And we're just finding out a lot of these things from major research
Yes, definitely.
And it's very strange that educators don't have this before people outside of the education system.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, always what I say is that teachers, they are the true societal change makers. They are the one going to the school every day, doing the work, and usually in a way that you don't see the results in the next day, but maybe after some years.
Yeah, maybe
And
many years.
Many years, yes. And they are really the change makers. And I think we should also raise their voice. Like, do we really understand what they are doing? Because it's really amazing the impact that you have as a teacher
Yeah.
when you really realize it. It's a huge responsibility
Yeah.
that we have.
Definitely. And as I usually say or used to say, is that mostly everyone remembers that one teacher who really had this impact, a positive impact, like saving them from some problem or really showing them the way. Like usually everyone remembers this one teacher.
Yeah.
And then I say that all teachers can be this one teacher for someone. So really, really, as you say, I mean, the teachers are really change makers, and they can be. And the sad reality nowadays is that teachers are mostly stuck in a system that is not really helping them to fulfill their potential as teachers, educators, inspirers, guides, and the facilitation of learning, which should be at the center. Like everything around the school system should be facilitating learning. But now there's so many things that are actually in the way of learning.
Yes.
So much administrative work. Let's say that you asked me before about Latin America or the Spanish-speaking world. There's a lot of administrative work also for teachers that has nothing to do with the learning, and maybe not even the teacher's competence. Let's say matches the high demand of administrative work. So then also teachers lose their why, their purpose, although they went into education with a very strong calling to help children.
Exactly. And I think when we talk about what should happen in the educational system, in the school system, it's important to note that then we are not talking about, as a teacher, you should do this and this and this. But then in my eyes, we talk about the whole system. And there are things that, yes, teachers can impact, but there are things they can't that should be changed as well. So when we talk about these things, we talk about it as a whole, not only to bring more to the teacher's table. Yeah.
And what you said about being a leader of learning, but not only that, but also leader of emotional guidance, you can correct me on how you phrased it. But really, I have this good friend that I just have to make a shout out to, John Kelly in Mexico, who was a director in a school before the pandemic. And then when the pandemic hit, he was just seeing the challenges and really starting to reflect about how to improve in his school, how to improve things for the children, having his own son growing up in the school system. And then he was starting to read a lot of material. So he read about Finnish education, Finnish phenomenon-based learning, and then he read this book about Ikigai. And then he got really, really excited about the purpose education that you actually very much use as purpose education.
Yeah.
And then it took a while. People came back to school after the pandemic loosened up a little bit. And then he just saw that instead of children being happy about being back in school, the system kind of gave them more tasks to catch up with lost time. So kids had to spend more time in school, do more reading, boring activities, and there was no purpose that the children felt. So then his son, he observing his son, let's say, not being any more enthusiastic about school, realized that now he has to do something. So he founded his own school, Colegio Ikigai in Mexico. And that has then, since then, become a really good role model. He's been so much sought after as a speaker and also collaborator. And I hope to be able to collaborate with him here in Finland or here in Europe, maybe back in Latin America one time soon. But that's really a role model where he also told me that, yeah, I mean, as a principal, founder of the school now, I have to be a leader of learning. And then he's really started like implementing technology, AI, metaverse solutions like on a daily basis or weekly basis, connected with the purpose of having fun. So having water wars with the children, playing football, as is originally from the UK, having a lot of fun also. So it's really fun learning, which is also something we try to promote in Finland. And then with modern innovations, and then with the core purpose of the ikigai at the center. Let's say the purpose of everything.
It's amazing. That is really, really amazing. And I think the school is there for learning. And in Finland, we give equal opportunities for everyone to have the access for the school. And we are there to learn. So I think also when we talk about these topics, it's just how to enhance the learning, how to make it deeper, because sometimes what I face is like we are putting too much like this stuff to the schools, but how can we separate these topics from the things that we do in the school? So yeah, actually yesterday we were training teachers here in Helsinki. The national agency in Finland is funding the trainings, and there was one teacher who shared a story that she has realized that in her job as a teacher, it's not too much about the content. Yes, that's her work. But what's more meaningful is to help the young people to find what's meaningful to them, to find the purpose, because she had really personal story of what happened when there was a young man who didn't find any meaning or purpose with anything. And all of us can guess, like, what are then possible? I've also been now in Norway a couple of months, really honored to cooperate with an NGO called Next Gen Ambassadors. And they work with young people who are outside of education and employment. And I've been interviewing some of the young people there. And the first things that I hear is, I didn't find any purpose in school. And suddenly when they have the right support and they find the meaning, they want to go back to the education because now they have some reason to do so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's something, and I'm exploring this topic as well right now. I'm in a searching it for myself. Like, okay, what can this mean in the school? But I think it's something that, like, the definition of a purpose by William Damon is that it's something personally meaningful, some long-term goal, but something that goes beyond it's like yourself, something that benefits other people.
Yeah.
So we can guide to that, but it always starts with yourself, with the self-reflection, so that we see in the students something that probably they don't even see, but we make them to think about their skills. And
I would say that this goes for everyone really, because even, I mean, I reflect on my own journey that I really loved school, but I also had this lack of meaning at university level where I really had to escape school. I didn't drop out, but I took a break 1 year to go to Colombia to teach English. I really enjoyed education, so instead of taking a break from education, I started teaching. I started, let's say, my educator path, but really found a purpose taking a break from my economic studies, going somewhere where I realized, okay, here we have real problems, and maybe as an economist I can do something. And that's where I connected my economic studies with education and found my purpose very late in life, like 20, 25, there more or less. But then that has been like a very strong purpose and a very strong calling for the rest of my life. And then I see the other side of the equation, where you have a lot of students who realize already that they cannot go through entire high school, not even basic education anymore sometimes, but especially high school, because they don't have this purpose, so they drop out already or want to take the break in high school. And I think we should somehow maybe propose this, maybe an international exchange program from high school. That's kind of becoming more and more popular to go already as a teenager. I started, let's say, traveling in my university years, but I think people are more connected to the world. They see that the thing that we have here is not like the thing that is important for me, and we kind of need to have more exposure to other options as a part of our journey, as a part of our also formal education path. And I think that's missing completely now. There's no one telling you, you should take a break from high school, or you should take a sabbatical after sixth grade, or after ninth grade. You should take a sabbatical and then maybe think about what you want to do in high school. No one is saying that. And also all parents are pushing. So even though the teachers are, let's say, with a responsibility of doing their job, still also parents have a responsibility to trying to find alternatives for the children, I think.
Exactly. And we all know when you have a really strong why you are doing these amazing things that you are doing. You have a really strong why. So that, I could guess, keeps you going, keeps you doing it, keeps you creative, keeps you have a purpose behind it, why you are doing it. And also, actually, now it comes to my mind one story that I heard in Norway is that this one young girl, there was this municipality calling this NGO that could you help us, because we have this young girl and we don't anymore know what to do. She doesn't want to live anymore. And we have tried everything we can. Can you help us? And they said, yeah, let's invite her here. And she came, and I was interviewing them, like, what did you do? And they said, the first thing we ask is that, what are you good at? What are you interested about? Do you have some dream? And she said, yes, I have a dream that the foster care homes here would be better for girls, because she had her own experience. And they started to give her a little bit of responsibility in the community. They started to coach her. But always, what are you good at and what do you want to do? Today, she's really, really talented young woman in the national TV talking about these topics, helping other young people, and really lives for that mission. And I was really speechless, because I also talked to her and imagine that was the change. To ask, what are you good at and what do you want to do?
Yeah. And she had experienced also a real problem that was important enough also for her to try to think of a solution for.
And I think from my experience, and also from Nuorisobarometri, how the
youth barometer.
Barometer in Finland.
Youth poll,
we know that young people, they want to do something.
Yeah.
But the question is, do we give them the opportunity to do so?
Yeah.
So that's why I think these topics should be talked a little bit more about.
Yeah, but you're doing it. So
we are.
So so before we go into what more you're doing, so based on these polls and your personal interviews with these young people, have you seen like a common pattern of what they would like to do? I mean, they would like to do something, find meaning. Do they have ideas? Like this girl, she had like an extreme experience. So she had, like, let's say, a real problem that she could try to solve. Yeah. And I think that's usually something that motivates you when you see problems in society. Then you kind of see, there's a role for me to help fix that, because I know I have an idea for a solution.
Yes.
But in general, do people have an idea already at such a young age?
With these interviews, it has been a lot about their personal experience. And that is usually a really strong why as well, because you have seen something that you would like to change, and it's personally meaningful for you because of your own experience. But not everyone knows. But then we can guide there by really exploring the strengths, your interests, your life stories. Yeah. And that's why we created the program. We start the journey on exploring. And And also, it's a small steps how the sense of meaning and purpose can develop. We start to do something in the community that contributes to the betterment of all, and we start to take these little steps, and we kind of also as educators we show different pathways what is possible, but I think it comes from the action. So we don't wait until we know, but we start to do something that we can do already today with what we have.
Yeah, and you have to test and experiment and see what do you like, what are you good at. Because at a young age, when you're stuck in a school system without these opportunities to explore your abilities, you don't get to know yourself really. And so what would you say for your program is the minimum requirement, let's say once a week, to have, let's say, a marked, and I have to say it's markedbypurpose.com, your website, the marked as a name. In the beginning, I was like, is it marketing related? But marked really by purpose is the mission and the complete name. And how much of that would you need to see enough significance or enough inspiration maybe for the young people to start getting more motivated about their lives?
Yes. Actually, with the name, it was a funny story because it was created or it came there by not a mistake, but by just a sudden idea, but we didn't recognize the meaning of it when the name came, but now we do. So first it was like Mark Education, Marked Ed.
Yeah, that's how I read it in like a couple of years ago.
Yes. But now there's the purpose, yes, because we really believe that every one of us has something to contribute. Like all of us, there's no one who wouldn't have something. We all have. And that's a strong belief we have and carry. But what would be the minimum? Like the program is 12-step program. So when we go through the 12-step, that's the minimum. But like I said, after that, it comes alive in the school and in the learning activities, because then teachers have these learning cards of the topics of the program that they can go back to whenever they want, to reflection and take it to part of everyday activities.
And how extensive is one step? Can you give some examples of one step?
Yeah, so they are 12 meetings, and it can take from 1 hour to 3 hours. So there's the flexibility, what are the resources that they can use at the moment.
Okay, and after that program, the 12 steps, how is the continuation usually?
Yeah. Then the young people, they have went through the program. They have created their first project. They will have the certification of participation that they can use as a part of resume. And after that, the topic starts to live in the school through the teachers and through the young people. So that's why the training for the teachers is so important, because they start to use it in the interactions.
So the teachers, do they do the training before the 12 steps, or are they part of the 12 steps?
They actually go through the same 12 steps themselves.
Before the students, or at the same time?
Before the students.
Okay.
So then they learn what's the theory behind. But they also, we go through the exercises together, because it's really the same topics that also supports our own well-being and our purpose and social emotional skills.
And is that enough for them? I mean, it's quite good if you have up to 3 hours 12 times. That's quite a lot of hours. That's like a good chunk of course. And a good, let's say, experience. Is that enough for teachers then to continue on their own, or do they have access to continuous mentoring, coaching, support from you?
Yes.
And how much is needed?
Yeah, they do have access to our digital platform where we gather these educators together, and there they can share their experiences, their struggles, to support each other and see and feel the collegial support from each other, really the community. So that's important. And then we have these monthly webinars where we talk about these topics. But we really must give the voice to the teachers, because they know, they are there every day. So we want to also give the voice to them, like what are they doing there, and share their knowledge.
And that's fantastic. And I can also imagine, though, that there's a lot of teachers who've been maybe 20 years in the industry. They have a very fixed way of doing things, and then they think that that is kind of the only way. They don't have, let's say, maybe the experience, or they haven't had the time to reflect. They haven't reached, let's say, the insight of having to change a lot of things, and then that they would, when they are lost after the program, they might just lose their way a little bit and go back to, let's say, default mode that they think would be an option. Because I saw that, like, before the pandemic, I gave a lot of teacher trainings on project basis, and then I also realized during the pandemic, when people come here to Finland a lot for teacher training, precisely, they have this one course, even if it's like 2 weeks, maybe it's 20 hours in total. It's really not enough for them to actually know what to do afterwards. And of course, I've never had, let's say, tools like yours to provide and so on. So have you seen that also, like, being the case, that you need more teacher training? Because I'm comparing this to the whole, like, 4, 5, 6 years teacher training program that they've had, which is kind of they've been programmed to do teaching in a specific way. And they might not have even the pedagogical skills to go beyond the subject-based instructive teaching. So for them to actually get the tools on a deeper level to know that, okay, this is my new way of working, realizing that I cannot go back to old ways. Is that like something that you foresee that you might need to build on, to have like much more training, or is this training really the sweet spot that it's enough and then you can just scale it to the world?
Well, now on our experience working in Finland with the teachers, they are really pedagogical experts, and we trust that a lot, and we have seen it. So when we give them the tools, and the tool that's main goal is to help their work, like you said, we have in the national curriculum a lot of these topics. So now we give them the tools how they can really make it true and help their work, implement
into practice.
Exactly. So we've seen amazing implementations just because of their expertise, how they see, how they can do the things when they start to know the topics. And many of the teachers, or most of them who come to our trainings, they are already interested of these topics. They already see the need of those. They already, they're willing to learn. So we can support them, and we do that as the best as we can. We offer for the schools these mentoring sessions that during the year the teachers can come and give some challenge that they've now faced, and then we together as a team we think about, okay, what could we do, how we could maybe use the program better for this, how we could approach the challenge. So it's all about thinking together and making the space for that. But we trust a lot to their expertise because we've seen.
Yeah, and that's also a key point to highlight, that Finnish teacher training has since many years back been very high quality, and there's a lot of autonomy for teachers, and there's a lot of trust put in teachers. So there's no, let's say, teacher control, no school inspection, etc. in Finland. In a case where that's not true, where you really have a lot of let's say teacher control in a sense, or you don't have the autonomy to kind of go and experiment, because we also have, as I've been able to compare and learned, that we have a lot of possibility to experiment in the classroom in Finland, and you have quite a high scientific mindset that it's okay to experiment, it's okay to make mistakes in the classroom. You have a lot of freedom to basically use, let's say, technological tools and try them out for free if you want to, without the authorities agreeing with you. And that makes it also so that the teachers don't need as much, let's say, training and courses on top of that compared to other countries. So I'm looking at this from a global perspective, and we can all improve. And for example, collaboration skills in Finland can always improve. Maybe you have seen that your teachers are collaborating better now with your tool, for example, that they collaborate how to do things. Because we're very, very independent in Finland, and maybe too independent, I would also say, from my maybe Latin American background from my professional life, where I see that the social skills among adults have to be, let's say, stronger if you want children to have strong social skills.
And it was even, I was reading one research results from Kirsi Tirri, a professor here in Finland, about purposeful teacher and about these purpose topics. And it was also research that teacher needs to have her or his own purpose before we can teach about these topics. And I thought that's interesting. And I was thinking maybe it's the same with every skill, that we need to first implement it ourselves, because then we use it much more. Then we talk about it much more. Then we, and as a teacher, you are a role model.
Yeah.
Like most of the things are learned by you modeling it.
Yeah.
You, like how you communicate about it.
Yeah, you have to practice as you preach. You cannot just talk about things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing because it also enhances your own well-being. Because we all need the same skills.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I just was thinking about an example, like a failed musician ending up as a school music teacher without actually continuing the creative part on his or her own time, would also be like a clear example of someone who is not showcasing the purpose. So I have a friend who just learned to play the guitar. He's like a youth trainer, and then started making songs and really showing the way by pursuing his own purpose while he's educating young people. So I think that just came to mind as a very good example of how it could be, whereas in many cases people just stop their pursuit. Maybe that's classical Hollywood movie also, that you have a lot of failed I don't know, musicians, but for any industry, and then they end up as a school teacher. That's maybe the US case or the Hollywood case, whereas in Finland you don't really end up as a teacher. It's very difficult to become a teacher, and it's like a top priority profession that it's more difficult than become a medical doctor to become a teacher in Finland. So it's very different, of course, in different countries.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, I think now also what we see happening in the school system here in Finland, also more and more the voice should be given to the teachers, because like you said at the start, there are a lot of administrative work, and the goals and the schedule that we have, I think it's I think it's too packed. Like, is there really room for anything else? And we need to know the realities. And yeah, but we have amazing professionals working in the schools, really. But now we need to think, how do we support them so they can support the students? And we think a lot about like what is the like purpose of education, but like I said, what if it's the purpose, and what would that mean? And yes, I'm really also now myself thinking about these topics, seeing, and we are like watching the results, what can happen when we start to take more and more of these topics. But I've been really inspired to these topics also with my friend Christine Namdar. She's been now researching about the meaning topics. There are many people thinking, and I really think this is now something that why it's important to talk about these topics.
Yeah.
And just to mention also, we talk about 21st century skills. But what has been seen in some research is that when students find some purpose and meaning, suddenly there is the 21st century skills already included. They become negotiators. They become to partner and cooperate with each other. They become these thinkers, these critical thinkers. Suddenly it's there.
Yeah, you need everything to pursue your purpose.
Yes.
And then to find your purpose, and that's a discovery journey also in itself, requiring a lot of skills.
And I think, yes, and there's so much potential in these young people.
Yeah.
And we should do everything to get that potential into work. Like, what do they want to use it for?
Yeah.
Because then we will thrive as a society.
Yeah. And about the society, what do you think is required though for the society, let's say parents and NGOs around or outside rather the school system, when we might recognize that teachers are maybe too busy, principals are too busy to really free the time to go and integrate a program like this into their school. And also usually the pressure to school or from the society needs to also go up to the politicians for a big change to happen. But it might start with, let's say, a movement in the society. So what do you see? What would be the key elements that you would like to have follow you, or that you would want to connect and drive also outside the school, where teachers can join on their free time also and show what they're trying to do in school, but before the entire school is following the path, what can happen and who should be involved?
That's a really good question. And yes, of course, our children, our young people, they grow in an environment where all of what you just mentioned is around them. So it's not only, hey, let's change school or let's do this development in the school. Like you said, if we talk about societal development and changes, we need all of these parts. That's for sure. Our focus has been on the schools just because of one reason, and that is that in Finland, most of the young people go through the school system.
Yeah.
So that's where we can make these skills and these topics equally for everyone, as we make the school system equal for everyone. Because all of us, we come from different backgrounds. Not all of us in home learn certain skills or about certain topics. So that's why we chose the school to be the place. But there are many amazing organizations working with parents, working with youth services, where young people are also given these opportunities. And that's why, as a larger way of seeing this, we need all of us in different sectors on doing this together. I don't know if I answered your question at all. But
yeah, I mean it's a very good reply, and it's difficult to find also those who, let's say, are ready to synchronize what they're doing, their efforts. But I think really we need to kind of find a collaboration around different organizations for a real movement. And there's different movements happening, let's say in EdTech, to mention one. There's one movement from the UK, from EdTech to PedTech, that I'm very curious about. I've been talking to one of the founders. And the pedagogical technology, for example, that we need to think about the pedagogy before we think about the technology. And then also, of course, before we think about the pedagogy, we might need to think about the purpose. So, okay, why are we doing whatever we're doing to begin with? And then the school, yes, it's also mandatory to go to school. So somehow we should reach everyone in school.
Yes.
So, and then from there it can go in all kinds of directions. But let's say we have the libraries in Finland. That is also a very good connection point and very highly esteemed. And also in Finland, we read a lot of books compared to many countries. So I think there's a lot of hubs that we can try to connect.
That is
connect
really
here.
true.
But what would be your vision, focusing on what you're doing right now? What's your vision right now for the years to come?
Our vision, like I said, I also personally, but in our work, we have the dream about school to be a place where everyone can find their potential and discover their purpose, and to have the tools to help teachers as the change makers being giving those tools to the young people. So that is really our vision and our dream, because that we will see in the society, and it will benefit all of us. And I think we should not lose no one, and especially the ones that are maybe not in the education system right now or outside of work. There is special potential in there, because they have many times experienced things that some people never experienced during their life. But yes, youth purpose education, that is something that we are building, and we invite different voices to be part of it and to see together what does that mean. We are also starting cooperations abroad. For example, there's really interesting cooperation coming with one university in Africa region.
Okay.
And we are also learning a lot.
Yeah.
But I think these topics unites us all. Also, like there are many different beautiful cultures, but as the humans,
Yeah.
how we function and what are the things inside of us that really unites us. So it's beautiful to see what we can do together in different countries.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I would make a conclusion on that teachers, educators, they are the change makers. They need the support for to give young people the tools to go towards what's meaningful for them.
And about the international ambition, so your goal is to reach 10 million people. Did I read correctly? By 2030. So then you have to go outside Finland because we don't even have that many people in total.
Yes.
So do you have strategic plans of what markets you would focus on beyond Finland? And now you have one starting point in Africa.
Yes.
But you have a strategy on where you would like to go.
Yes, we do have. And now in the next couple of years, we are also expanding here in the Nordics. And then let's see what starts to happen in different regions. But what I also think is that especially we're now focused also in like English speaking regions that will be like for us at this point. But when you find, when there's people who show the interest, then there's always the way to do it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And I think everyone is searching for a real meaning nowadays in the chaos of everything that's happening on many different levels.
Yeah.
And also we have the opportunity to pursue our purpose because we are better off than 100 years ago in most of the world.
Yes.
And I think this topic is really relevant right now to find a human meaning, human purpose, and not get lost in the digital chaos that we see everywhere right now.
Yes.
So I wish you very much good luck, and I hope to talk more with you in the future and see if we can collaborate on something.
Yes.
That would be amazing. So finally, your final recommendation to teachers and parents and society in general, and then where can people find you and more information about Marked by Purpose?
And thank you. I really enjoyed this conversation. For the teachers, I would say that I would ask, like, what's your purpose? What do you want to make happen through your work? What is your why? That keeps us going, really, because there are also challenges in the work. It's not an easy job. So what keeps us going? What is the deeper why behind it? And I think the same goes to all of us. But you can find us on our website, markwithpurpose.com. And we are actually starting also our first online training programs where teachers can participate from different regions. So that will be shared more about soon.
Okay, so Marked with Purpose, Ida Nevalainen, it was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.